Popper squared. Go ahead and go to a B10S stinger hook, here in size 4, and place it in your vise, making sure the hook shank is parallel with the ground. Next, load a bobbin with 6/0 uni here in green. Start your thread behind the hook eye and wrap back to just above the point of the hook, and then go ahead and cut your tag end off. Next, go to some red crystal flash. Cut 4 or 5 fibers free from the hank. Then bring them to your hook and fold them against the thread. Tie them down just above the back end and wrap back, making sure the fibers protrude past the hook bend, and cut them off to about 1 hook shank in length. And then save the rest for another fly. Next, go to a floral green grizzly pack barred. Strip 2 webby feathers off from the hide, and then get another 2. And then just 1 more webby fiber. With the 2 pairs, go ahead and match them up so they're both leaning to one side, with the tips aligned. And do the same to the next pair. They should fold over each other gradually, and you should be able to make a forked tail out of this. So, with the shiny side facing towards you, tie them on the far side of the hook so they protrude outward away from you. The tail should be about 2 hook shanks in length. Make sure to tie them on the far side without the stems sliding around the hook shank. Now do the same to the near side, making sure both the tips are aligned. You should wind up with a forked tail. Next, go to the single feather. Strip down a couple feathers exposing the tip, and then cut it off square, leaving a small triangle. With the shiny side facing up, go ahead and tie it on top of the hook near the back. And bring your thread up, towards the middle part, to the middle shank. Now make touching wraps, pushing the fibers back as you go, with the feather. Once you reach the fuzz of the feather, go ahead and tie the stem off. And then go ahead and push the hackle fibers back and kind of do a couple wraps to push them back even further. Now go ahead and whip finish your thread and cut it off. Now go to some 2mm craft foam. Here, green and chartreuse. Match the edges and corner. Then get scissors, and at about a width of about 1 centimeter, go ahead and cut up the foam, cutting both pieces of foam for about 6 centimeters. This length will create the amount of foam for 2 flies. Now, go to the 2 pieces of foam. With some super glue, go ahead and make a small line across the middle of the lighter colored foam. But it doesn't really matter. Now go ahead and take the darker piece and place it directly on top and push it in to the chartreuse foam, making sure the glue sets. Then, wipe all the excess glue off with a note card or some other piece of paper. Once the glue is dried, go ahead and cut off any of the irregulars sticking out or protruding from the square of the rectangle. Then go ahead and at a width of about 1 centimeter, create 1 centimeter by 1 centimeter squares. Use the previous cut square as a stencil. And work your way down the big rectangle. At the end, you should get 6 squares. Take 3 of these squares. Take one of them and make shallow cuts on 3 of the sides. And then to the second one, make even shallower cuts. As the first one cut will be the smallest, the second one cut will be the second largest, and the last one will not be cut at all and will be the largest. You may need to trim these up to size as you go on. This will create a tapered body. Now, with a needle, go to the uncut side, and about 1/3 up from the bottom of the foam, go ahead and poke a hole. Make sure the hole is wide enough to fit the hook eye through. And now with the second one, go ahead and cut it if it needs to be cut a little bit more, and then poke it about 1/3 up, matching the bottom with the one already on the needle. Now do the same to the final piece. And then kind of slide it past the needle. This will grate the hole. Now go to some barred and speckled crazy legs. Strip 2 free from the rest. And separate those 2, if the rubber is still connecting them. Now go to your hook. There will be a pattern. It will be foam, rubber leg, foam, rubber leg, foam. And that will create the head and legs of the fly. Take the smallest piece of foam and push it back with the dark side facing towards the bend. Push it back up to the eye and place a small drop of superglue in front of the hackle wraps. And then push the foam back towards the hackle wraps, making sure the majority of the foam is above the hook shank. Now start your thread again. Now take a rubber leg and kind of fold it around the thread and tie it directly on top of the hook right up against the first piece of foam. There should be 1 strand coming off from each side of the hook. And then go ahead, whip finish and cut your thread off. Place another drop of superglue right in front of the rubber legs. Take the second biggest foam, and again, with the dark side facing towards the bend, go ahead and push it over the eye and push it against the first piece of foam. And then start your thread for one last time, and take the one last rubber leg and tie it just as the same as the one previous. And then finish your thread and cut it off. And place 1 more drop of superglue in front of that rubber leg. Take the biggest piece of foam and push it against the rest of the foam. And let the glue dry. Now with the rubber legs, pick 2 up and cut the back one to about 1 hook shank in length, and the front one to about 2 times that of the rubber leg. and do the same to the far side. You can trim these up to how you like them. And after that, the fly is finished.